Hi everyone, this is Stacy from MyCraftingTime.com. Today I'm going to show you how to make this super cute, adorable Valentine's Day or Sweetheart's Day card. For this card I used a cut and all the paper from Lettering Delights. Lettering Delights is an online service where you can download some electronic files for either your scal or your make the cut, or you can just print these out on your printer, cut them out, and use them on your cards. What you're seeing right now is a cut from their Freebie Friday that I downloaded on Friday, January the 22nd. So, 22nd, 2011. So if you're seeing this beyond that date, I'm not sure if this file will still be available for free download or not. But it came as a set of some super cute Valentine's Day monsters. And I'm also using a stamp set from Pink by Design. I have my Photoshop Elements 8 open. You can use any photo or graphic editing program that you want. This is just the one I prefer to use. So I'm going to start a new page, which is Control N. And the first thing I do is I work with the size of the front of the card. So we're going to do 5.5 by 4 1/4. Let's say OK. And this is the front. This is the size of the front of my card. So the first thing I do is I kind of design the front of the card, and then I'll pull all these pieces into another page, which is really my print page. So the first thing we need to do is open some of my files that I want to use from Lettering Delights. And here they are saved on my hard drive. And a quick way to do this is actually just to drag them into Photoshop. I'm not going to drag them into my mat. I'm going to drag them outside so they open up as a separate file. And I know I want to use that. And another item that I want to use is, there's a circle scallop right here that I know I want to use, and here's our monster that we want to use. So I put those all into Photoshop so I can use them, and I'm going to minimize them for now. They are in my tray so I can get them quickly. So the first thing I want to do is I want to put this checkered pink paper on my mat, and I'll move that into place. And I want to add another file, but this time I'm going to use Place. And I'm going to go, I have to search for it, into, this is just my crazy way of organizing my files. I'm sure there's a better way. Holiday and Valentine's Day. Okay. The other paper that I wanted to use was this brown striped paper. And first thing I want to do is shrink it. Actually, I don't want to shrink it. I want to hold. If you see that I have my huggers turned into part of a circle, I'm actually going to rotate this. If I hold down my shift key, it'll rotate on those 90-degree angles. So I want to get it facing the other way. There we go. And I want this to be about 1/3 of the page. So we'll just line it up where it looks nice, and then I'll say OK. And the next thing I want to do is stick my circle scallop on my page. So I'm just going to click on it down here, drag it up to here, and it's going to place it on the page for me. And one thing I want to do is change this background so it's not transparent but is rather white. So I'll just pick a white, then I pick my fill bucket, and I click on the scallop, and there we go. I'm going to place my scallop in the center of my page. And then I want to grab my monster and put him on here too and size him. He's actually going to fit on the scallop. And we want to leave enough room down here for a sentiment I want to use. So again, this is just designing it so I know how big everything needs to be. My next step is going to be open another page, so Control N, and this time this is going to be my print page. And I know my cardstock is 8.5 by 11. So I'll print this on my printer. And what I need to do is I need to move over the items that I want to print over to here. So for this brown piece of paper, I actually have to make sure I have it selected over here. So it's selected, and then I hit this selection box, and I want to drag a selection. You can hit your escape key if you don't get it right, but you want to drag this so that I have all of it. I really should have a mouse. There we go. And then hit Control C, go over to your 8.5 by 11 and hit paste. Then I'm going to grab my selector up here and I'm going to move this up about right there for printing. And then next I want to make sure I have the pink checker selected. I'm going to hit my escape to release my selection box, hit selection box again, and now I'm going to grab the pink piece. I really only want to grab what I want to print. I don't want to waste ink, I don't want to waste paper. That's why I'm selecting it like I am and only getting exactly the size that I need. And then we'll grab our selector and we're going to move this up right next to this one, and that's how we're going to print this. So you can use your up down arrow keys to kind of nudge it into place until it's in place. They can get down one more. There we go. So then I actually want this scallop, so I could copy it from here or I can drag it from down at the bottom again and into my paper. There's my scallop. Place it where it can be printed. And the last thing I need to do is we're not going to print this monster out. You could if you wanted to. You could print this whole flat thing out and paste it to the top of the card if you wanted to, but I want to give a dimension to it, so we're going to cut these out separately so we can pop them up. The monster himself, these letterboxing delights come with both PNGs, which is what I opened in the Photoshop, and it also comes with SVGs, so you can cut them on your Make the Cut or your Scale software. So I'm going to cut him out on my Make the Cut software, but I need to have colored paper first, and I didn't have any of these colors to match this color scheme, so what I'm going to do is show you how to make those colors yourself. So we're going to grab a rectangle box over here, and I know he's about 2 inches by 2 inches, so I'll draw about a 2 inch by 2 inch block. And then I want to fill it with this color. So the trick here is to hit your fill, and you get an eyedropper. And when the eyedropper is over the color that you want, you just click. It puts that color in there for you. You say OK. Then we're going to pick up our fill bucket again, and over top of our square, and there you go. Perfectly matches. Now we need another square for the darker pink. So we'll make another approximately 2 by 2 square. It'll automatically fill in by the last color we had, but that's okay. We're going to go and select this box again, and this time we're going to pick up the dark pink. We're going to say OK. Hit our fill bucket, and then fill that block in. And then we can hit our selector and nudge any of these the way we need to nudge them in order to get them to print correctly on the paper. We don't want them to overlap. Okay, so this is going to print on my regular printer on an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock, and that will give us all the paper that we need to make the top piece of this card. So let me go do that. I'll show you what that looks like, and then we'll be back. Okay, so there it is, all printed out. All we have to do is cut this out so that it's the front of our card. And then we'll cut this out by hand and then cut these two pieces out. These two pieces will become our paper for our monster, so we'll stick those on our Cricut. So let me show you next how to set this up on your Make the Cut software so that you can cut out the monster. Okay, so I've opened up my Make the Cut software, but you could use Scale too if you wanted to. I just don't have that. This is the software that I have. The actual file that we'll be using is a SVG file, which we can open in here. So we're going to hit New, and then we're going to go File, Import, SVG, and then we locate the correct one. I think that was him. Yep. Open. And what's really nice is these come together like this, and then you can pull the pieces apart so you know exactly what piece is what. And I know this guy's about 2 inches, just because when I made him through the Adobe Photoshop software, that's the size he was. So I'm going to make him about that size here. And the first thing I want to do is I want to get rid of this layer. So I'm just going to move it out of the way. Then hit the delete. And then at this point you just start peeling these layers away. This is the dark pink. This is the light pink. And we have, this is the red, so this is his mouth and heart. And then this is the black. And I just put these on different sections on the mat, and then that's the white. I put my paper on there based on the size of cubes that it's using on the mat, and I know each one of those cubes is a 1 by 1 inch square. So, and I want this to be the same, either use this the same color as that, or I might make it another color, or I may not even use this layer at all. I may use just this layer, which is a light pink layer. Actually, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to delete this layer, which is nice. You can use whichever layers you want. So when I set up my Cricut mat, I'm just hitting my minus key so you can see. I will put different colored paper for each one of these sections. So I'll put a 2 by 2 block of red there, probably a 2 by 2 block of white there, black, dark pink, light pink, and then an even lighter pink. And all you have to do is hook this up to your Cricut machine using a USB to mini USB cord, and then you hit the print. So let me get the paper ready. I'll show you what that looks like, and then we'll cut it out. Here are the colors laid out in our mat. Let me cut that out, and I'll be right back.